I am content creator Joey Garrity. I'm the founder of Superstar Women Entrepreneurs Media Network and Joey G113. I'm dedicated to empowering women entrepreneurs to create a beautiful, personal, and professional lifestyle by spotlighting superstar tools, tips, and resources that gain them ease and grace. Every episode, myself, along with a featured guest, share our Superstar Women Entrepreneurs journey on my globally recognized show, Superstar Women Entrepreneurs Spotlight with Joey. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Superstar Women Entrepreneurs Spotlight with Joey. So glad you're here. I have an amazing guest today. She's got a huge background in media, and I'm going to let it tell us a little bit about someone that she worked with, which is one of my icons. I've heard so much about her over the years through some friends of mine. And so immediately when I was going to launch this show, I knew she had to come on the show. And she said, yes. So super excited. But I also want to pop in that on this show, I'll be giving away swag. And so every show, I love swag. Who doesn't love themselves some swag, right? That's so Hollywood, right? And I love this little carrying case, makeup case. Inside, I actually have some of my favorite products too that I want to share with you. I love Lancome. And so I have a mascara. It's a black mascara, which I use. I also have a nude lip liner, and I have the lipstick that goes along with it. And then I have a little surprise that's going to be in there too when it gets delivered. How you're going to win is wait till the end. I'll let you know. There's something that Erin's going to be dropping into the show that I'm going to want you to put in the comment section. And then I'll put you into a drawing, and then I'll let know whoever's a lucky winner. Okay, so let's jump right in. Okay, so we're going to be talking with Erin Saxton today. We are going to be talking about one of my absolute favorite things to talk about, which is about media and how to get more buzz and biz with Erin today about media coverage. And she is a go-to expert. A little bit about me too is that you can find out more about me at joeyg113.com. I'm a content creator and my name is Joey Garrity, and you can find out more about my brand, my services and products over there as well. So let me tell you a little bit about this superstar. She is a global director, media spokesperson, brand development, public relations producer. And you know how much I love that too, that she put producer in her title, right? Because I was just like, that's so sexy. Producer. And she's highly sought after Emmy nominated TV producer. Is that not hot or what? PR expert and media executive who's taken companies and products and people and brought them to the number one spot out there. And so I'm going to bring her up from the green room. Hey, Erin.
Hey, thanks for having me. Hey, everyone. I want that lip liner.
Oh, right. I love it. Thank you so much for
colors.
joining us today. That's so cool. And like I said, I love that you have the producer title in your very extensive set of titles. Would you just share everyone out there with the very famous person that you worked with for 10 plus years?
So I think you're meaning my mentor, Barbara Walters.
Yes,
Okay,
sister.
good. I've worked with some people, but Barbara is like the tops, right? And it's sad because we just lost her not too long ago, but she had an amazing life. And so right out of college, when I was in college and then right out of college, I was at Good Morning America. And people were like, oh, great, you made it. And I'm thinking, I'm still hungry. Right. So I was kind of like a permanent temp at Good Morning America. And so I would just cover all the 8 to 9 different departments. But then they have these listings in the elevator bank that it was like so long ago. It was like on pieces of paper and they printed it on copier machines and stuff. And it was like the want ads in TV. If anybody ever realizes, like, if you want a job in television, you're not like looking up the classifieds, right? I mean, how do you find a job in entertainment like that? Like, it's just all who you know, very like popular and incestuous, like, you know, it's just kind of weird. And then you get in there and then it's like the mafia, like you can't leave, you know. So I put my producer title in because I've given away like 50 children just to get that title, right? I mean, So it's staying no matter, I'll be 90 and I'll be like, hey, I'm a TV producer. So, but it was at Good Morning America, when I was reading these want ads, there was this job opening for this thing called Bar Wall Productions. And like, I'm a pissy little 21-year-old and I'm like, Bar Wall Productions, like, what's that? And somebody was like, duh, that's Barbara Walters, and that's her own production company. So I was like, oh, I need that. So I interviewed a zillion rounds, by the way, like, hello. I'm like, only I said, and they're like, well, we're going to have you come back again. And I was so fun. I was like, guys, you want me to come back for a fourth round? Like, this isn't like, you either know you like me or you don't. Like, I like you. Do you like me? And if like, what's a fourth round going to do? I'm like, I don't even think I have that many suits. I swear to God, I said it. Like, I'm like, and they just started cracking up. And like, thank God, because I was like, finally, like, this is stupid. It's their entry level position. The pay wasn't anything like amazing. So I'm like, why? What's with the hoops? Like, I don't love cardio. We're jumping a lot. So I got the job. And then I stayed with Barbara I kept getting promoted. And then I left for a while because I hit this proverbial ceiling. There was only 8 people in that production company. So I traveled everywhere with Barbara, and we did all those primetime celebrity interviews and things like that. We usually ran them before like Oscars and Emmy specials. Like, if anybody, I'm 53. So this is like, the 90s. This was like, that we were doing that. And then I left, I went to Rosie. Dow Jones had a TV station for a split second. And, when that Dow Jones canceled their show, somebody's like, are you worried? I'm like, no, I'm not worried. They're like, why? I'm like, I don't know. My career's, I've never not gone about life. I worry about my kids, my parents. I worry about everything, my dogs. I just never worry about my career. I don't know why. Like, if I think about it, I guess I would start worrying. And I get back to the desk and the phone rings, and it was Bill Getty with Barbara Walters saying, we're launching this show called The View. Do you want to come back and join us? Still as a pissy, now not 21. I was like, well, I left there as an associate producer. Like, are you I'm a producer now. And Bill's like, yes, Erin, you're coming back home to be a producer. Like, I hear Barbara rolling her eyes, you know. So I was one of the original producers of The View.
I love that, Erin. That's such a
That's my
like
story.
that's such a roll out the red carpet story. I love how authentic you are about how you're like, I was just like, how many times do you have to like get to know me?
Right.
Just like me. I mean, don't you just love me anyways? I'm like, yes, yes, of course they do. Of course they
Well,
love
and
you.
now in marketing, right? Now we know, like, studies show, like, it's 8 seconds to make a first impression. Goldfish
Right.
have the attention span of 23 seconds. So I'm
Right.
like, those people over at Barwall Productions needed 4 rounds of interviews with me in 8 seconds. They knew they liked me or not. Joke's on me. I kept coming back. I was like, I can't buy any more like Harvey Bernard or whatever suits that was popular back then. And then you don't even dress like that anyway. So I'm like, mother fudger, like, what's going on?
I
Whatever.
love that.
But it was great.
Love
Great
that.
job.
I've heard a lot about you over the last couple years, and we've never.
Sorry.
But I've been watching you on social media, and I was like, "Oh, she's such a pistol. I want her on the show." Like, I love like how you're like you say what you like. Like, you're very authentic even online. Like with your
Thank
unique
you.
point of
I try. I
view.
really, it's intentional.
No, I love it. I love it, and we need more women like that, anyways. Like we need to be who we are. We're just like just show up and be you, right? And that's what I love about live streaming because it's reality, but it's real, right?
Right.
It's real. I love to share about the Barbara Walters was my mentor, but I love how you said how you took that and you said, I want everyone to have the same kind of attention from media and that's what you're doing for people out there. Could you share a little bit more about how you're allowing people into the threshold with these strategies and tools that you learned from working in Hollywood?
Yeah. So absolutely. So basically, when I was at The View, and this is just some insight as to when everybody pitches the media, this is what happens, right? So first of all, I was at The View and it was in the basement. So there was no view. at the View, right? No windows, nothing. So we're all in this like, like hazmat shelter of a basement. And there's just like, if you could picture a big conference room and just dry erase boards everywhere. And they let's say they book 6 weeks out, they're looking and it's all like taped down in segments, right? So, and this, every show has it differently, but this is a good example for, and then we can get into the nitty gritty of you all wanting to get into the media. I think that the biggest challenge that people do is they don't understand how the media operates. And so therefore they pitch or they call and they don't even, or they throw spaghetti on the wall and they're not even giving that media outlet what they need. I mean, Joey, I'm sure people pitch you to be with you and like they're pitching a segment or an interview that you're like, have you not watched my show? Like I would never talk about, marigold fertilizer, like unless it's under eye cream, Joey's not doing it, right? Like I don't know, right? So it's like one of those things. So basically, you need to hunt for great guests. Like if you get your top half of the show, that's your Julia Roberts, your celebrities, your like, big name people. Like, but like, oh, Harry Styles. Oh my God, what am I going to talk to Harry about? Oh, big deal. Like that's easy. Like I'll go 2 rounds with Harry. Like, great. I can just write that up and be done. It's the back half of the show that's challenging, which is great news for everybody. Right. So you need to pitch and give these producers or these bookers something that they're going to want to put on their show so good that they're going to be like, oh, where's my next hole? Which sounds weird, right? But and crass, but like, that's my brand. But it's like, oh, look, 2 weeks from now, I have a back half segment 5. I could put this in, right? And now I need great video of the person. Are they a book expert? Are they a columnist? Whatever it is, right? So then that's what the pitch is like. So if we get pitches that are great, that's perfect. If not, then we're making this stuff up and having to book it ourselves. So if everybody could learn how to pitch, it would be better. So one day at 2 a.m, Joey, I wake up in the middle of the night with this idea for a company. Because I now at this point, I'm like, I don't want to do another season at The View. I don't know. I just felt very entrepreneurial. And I thought, I wish there was a somebody that could make producers' lives easier and give me better pitches. So I didn't have to work so hard, blah, blah, blah. So I wake up in the middle of the night, like could have had a V8 moment. And I was like, wait, I'm the girl. I'm going to create a company that bridges the gap between the media and anybody who wants to be in the media. Like, oh, miraculous. Like, Wayne's World. So that's what I did. And so I was newly married. I'm not married anymore. Shocker. I know everyone. Right. But so I go in and I call my husband the next day and I said, I woke him up in the middle of the night and then I call him in the office. I'm like, so I'm going to give notice. And he's like, wait, what? So it turns out doesn't even remember me talking to him in the middle of the night. Sign number 1, we were on the road to despair. Right? So sign number 2, he's like, what do you mean? So I rerun the idea again. And he's like, it freaked him out. Right. So I married a risk adverse person, at least in that moment. Sign number 2. Right. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. So he's like, just give me 2 weeks to get my head around this. We're married now and I got to make sure our salary. And I'm like, oh, I need to be a partner. Right. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I gave it like 11 days. I promised 14. He got 11. Too bad. So sad. But I had it written out. I made money for my first month and I just started like and that company was called the Idea Network. I ran it for 12 years. I had staff. I did this. I then sold it. And then I merged with somebody else and I ran that new company for just a little bit. And then I got everybody kind of all hunkered down. And then I just started my own consulting company. And this company that I'm doing now, that was like 10 years ago. So I'm like, I feel like my career is like 90 years old, right? But yeah, I can't reinvent myself anymore. I'm exhausted. It's ridiculous. So
I love.
I'm ridiculous, right? And meanwhile, just so
You
you
make
know,
me cry.
I
You
have
make me cry, laugh. I love how you talk about
so I'm
your
working on
husband and you're like, "He left." You're like, "How many days do you need to think about this?" You're like, "We're over."
yeah, I mean, right? Like,
But it's
yeah,
so
I was
true.
like, yeah,
It's so true with us entrepreneurs. Like, I've literally told my husband, we've only been married like 3 years now, and I've told him, I said, "Honey, I will literally pick my business over you every single day, so do not upset me too much."
don't mess
And
with me.
he's like literally has to think about it. He's like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm not kidding. I'm
Yeah.
going to pick my business every time first. It's gonna come first." I'm okay because he doesn't watch my show, so it's okay. I'm saying that
Yeah, my family
yeah.
doesn't either. No one in my personal life will ever see this.
I know, but I mean, they should. They should watch our shows
Are you
because
kidding?
we
I have
say so
37
much on
episodes.
our
Yeah,
shows.
I have 37 episodes of my podcast, the fat version of Erin, by the way, called That Girl from Jersey. I have 37 episodes. I if I was on my deathbed and I had like a dying wish and I'd be like, family, come close. Tell me, what was the favorite episode that you did? Like, what was the most profound thing I said in one of my interviews? They'd be like, ah, and they'd put a pillow over my face to be like, she's gone too soon.
It's so true. It's so true. The people closest to us, I swear, they don't even know what I do. I'm
I
like,
swear they do.
I have a live show. I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm actually have influence. They're like, "What is that?"
yeah. I just
I
tell
love
people I'm a thong model in my family, and then they like are like, look at me, because nothing about this is going to be in a thong, and you might as well just be like, oh, I'm a dancer, which is cool. Perfume
Oh my
sprayer at a department store
God.
doesn't
And
matter.
I love too how you're like, I was thinking and going, wait a second, light bulb moment. I'm the answer to what I'm talking about. It's so true about the pitch. It's so true. And I love this tip from you. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. I was like, we are so like-minded. I have a quote out there that's like, being uncomfortable is the new comfortable.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
that's true,
I learned that
sister.
from Barbara and my mother. Both women make me very uncomfortable. You know, my mom's still alive, so Barbara, like, but yeah, there's this moment where you say something
Yeah.
and you have to just wait. It's
Yeah.
a brilliant, magical moment, even
Yeah.
in the we're doing it right now. Like, well, we don't know each other. We
Yeah.
literally just met right here. And you
Right.
said, I'm going to put you on mute, do the intro, and now we're live. So you have no idea what I'm going to say next. I have no idea what you're going to say. It's safer to be me because this is your playground. Me, I mean, you could just never have me on again, or never air the show. That's fine. But, I guess that could happen. But
Erin,
there's
I'm so having you back on the show, and I'm so gonna air this because, again, I love how transparent you are. That's such a red carpet spotlight moment, what you're talking about. That's why I love live because it's real
it is real.
reality.
Yeah.
It's real. We don't know it, but we should be talking about things. Like, I'm being dead serious with you. I don't think my husband has ever watched a show, and if you really had to nail him down by what I did for a living, he couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
He could not tell you. And I had to get over that. Like, at first my feelings were hurt. And now, you know what? I've given that, so I have so much peace around it now. I have so much peace because he didn't grow up like you and I in the business where he had to pitch,
Right.
right? And pitching for us is like a second skin.
Yes.
It's like a second skin. Tell me something about why pitching also can feel very uncomfortable for people, sister.
Well, it is about that comfortable being uncomfortable. So whether we're in an interview right now or when everybody is about to pitch the media, you're going to say what you need to say if it's live. And so many people make the mistake by then, I know I'm talking a lot, right? But pretend you're not me in an interview. Like, there's moments where you just have to say it and then pause.
Yes.
And you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable in that sometimes it's a little window, sometimes it's a big window. You're waiting to hear what they're going to say back. So when you're pitching the media, you're waiting to just pretty much get shot down or no, or you know what, okay, or they're like Humpty Dumpty on the fence. So then you're like, geez, I got to sell it more, which then feels weird, but it's very uncomfortable. But you just have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because it's not glamorous, this pitching of the media. It's
No, it's
great when you're on camera and you get there, but like the schlep work that you have to do getting the media interviews is tough.
it really is, Erin, and I love that you talk about this. What I realized I was doing for years is I was using my intuitive. I
Mm,
would go into a room and I would listen on a very deep level, hear what they wanted, go into my Rolodex of what I had sitting there that I could sell them, and then I would tweak it to fit what they were basically from my gut. I
yeah,
was doing that a lot, and that's
I do
probably
that
why I was
too.
so wiped out. I think
Well,
that's why I
right, yeah,
was so spiritually and physically wiped out by the time I left Hollywood the first time,
mm,
because I was leaning on my intuitive gut constantly,
yeah,
right, to win the deal in the room. Because I talk about in my second book, because I was chasing the golden circle. I wanted my bosses to praise me and recognize me, and I was constantly chasing this.
yeah. So I got wiped out in entertainment because I'm very empathic, I guess, right? So I feel what people feel about me.
Yes, sister.
And I forget to cover myself in the white light, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not saying blah, blah, blah because I'm knocking it. I'm going blah, blah, blah because I forget to do it. And then, but I count on that gut feeling, right? So everybody has that. It's a muscle that can even be more developed. But, like I kind of know what kind of media I'm going to get for somebody if I'm hired to be their PR person. So what's great about that is I know. What's not so great about that is I know, right? So if
Yeah.
I have somebody like a yapper who's like, okay, so you're going to pitch 25 media outlets and I'm going to get 28 bookings from that because people are just going to think I'm totes amazing. And you're like, I'm going to get you 3 and 2 of them are low level podcasts and 1 might be a moderate national, right? And I'm thinking 3 out of 25 for this pretend person is like flipping awesome.
It is.
But like now I know also because I'm tapping into this person. I've had so many of these people over the years, but I'm not thinking of one in particular right now. There's so many to name that I don't know. So, but you want to say, so what do you do though? Because I love to sleep well at night. It's my favorite thing to do, right?
Yes.
So to stay in integrity, then do you, right?
Tell
So
them the truth.
And I'm thinking, so then I started coming up with, and here's another tip. I think most PR people will get 5 to 8% return on pitching, if that makes sense. My team, because we're senior level and our friends are like EPs of shows and whatever, so it's a little insider, but I'll say we're 8 to 10% return on pitching. So
Yeah.
if you look at it like telemarketing, because it kind of sometimes is, and you're pitching 10 shows, right?
Yeah.
So people need to get realistic with that. It's almost like doing that wedding invitations. Like, well, we're going to expect 10% to not show up. Like, so, and not many firms these days are pitching 1,000 1,000 outlets to get your like, so you have to, when hiring a media person or when doing it yourself, I think everybody needs to have a dose of reality there. And then also getting back to why I started the first company is everyone really needs to get clear as to who you are or what you're pitching. Like if I invented this, dog sweater or whatever, it might not be a human, but if it's a book, a thought leader, a concept or whatever, it it's not one size fits all. Like everyone really needs to kind of figure out, why would this TV show want me? Like watch the show. Crazy idea, people. Actually watch the show that you're pitching, or listen to the podcast that you're pitching, or read the articles that you're pitching. Like, please, like, people in the media will devour you if you don't. Like, it's just
So true.
ridiculous. And
It's
there's
so
plenty of times with me, with my background, I don't get calls back, which is so flippin' insulting. Like, I just want to be like, what? What?
so
But it
I
happens. And then I'll call like with a British accent.
if
Hello.
if someone
That's
says
a
no to
burner
coming
phone.
on my show, no matter how big they are, like, because I've asked some major players in Hollywood to come on my show, and I had one of them say no to me, and I'm like, I'm never asking them again.
Yeah.
I don't. That is how I get. I get like, I don't think so. I
Yeah.
don't think so. I was on the Podfest stage and I was literally sharing this with hundreds of people. I'm like, if someone doesn't come on your show, there are so many other people that are willing to come on your show. So quit chasing guests.
Yeah.
Go after the right guests.
My son, if everyone follows me in social media, so I have this weird habit of blending my personal and professional brand. Like, you're not going to, if you hang out with me on like my website, I'll give like tips, and I have like consulting and stuff like that. But if you hang out with me on my social media, I'm singing with my dog. Like, I'm just more of a person out, like a lifestyle brand. So my son, who's now 18, when he was 5, might have said the most profound thing ever. And he was like, you know what, mom? I'm like, what? He's like, if they don't like me, I don't like them. And I'm like, wow, sounds so basic. But like, for me, I'm the Rose Island of friggin' Golden Girls. I need everyone to like me. So I was like, oh my God, my son might not have to go to therapy. No, we all do therapy, but he doesn't need to go for that. Right. So he was oddly at peace with people not liking him. And then he's like, fine, I just won't like you back. So it's the same thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
if but now I'm pitching
They're
to
on some
clients.
road. But I
Yeah.
think
So
but I love your advice to the audience out there. Like, know where your influence is. Like, I tell people from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, where's your influence? And if they're like a 2 or 3, I said, then probably not going to get on Oprah.
right.
Okay. Right. Know where you're at, but doesn't mean someday you can't work your way towards that.
Exactly.
Right. And
Exactly.
that's what we're all doing. Like, everyone started somewhere. I watched Barbara's they did a whole gig on her on 60 Minutes, right?
Mhm.
And it was so good. It was so good. And what it really showed you is how she started.
Yeah.
Where she started. And then she grew her influence, and it doesn't happen overnight. And so
It
Erin is
doesn't.
great advice for people out there.
Yeah.
Like, and if Erin gets you on 2 or 3 podcasts, like, bravo, because
Yeah.
that's going to take you to the next level anyways, right? And it really is all about pitching something that's compelling to where you're pitching it to in the first place. I'm also a huge, huge, huge believer in being everywhere. Be
Mhm.
everywhere. Today's marketplace, you can. You can
No,
be
it's true.
everywhere.
It's true.
You don't have to ask people's permission.
No, I do like when people are on cross platforms, if they offer something a little different. I don't love, um, as somebody who guides people, I listen, it's like if you have an event, I get it, like multiple across, but how you deliver it, how you say it, like, because some people are devout fans and followers. So you might follow us on LinkedIn and then Twitter or Instagram or whatever. So I recommend, just making the reels or posts or placements like look a little
Different.
different, even if it's the same essence of the message. Like, at least change out the graphics. Like, it just it I think it looks more authentic.
Well, and you have to change out the graphics just because of the dimensions, depending on where you're sharing it. And
Right.
if
And
you're going
even
to
like
share
your
on LinkedIn,
tags and stuff like
you're
that.
going
I
to
just,
talk differently than if you're going to share on Insta. If you're going to share on Facebook, you're going to talk very differently if you're sharing in your group than you're going to talk if you're sharing over on Twitter, right? So,
yeah,
and
you
like,
would think though, I see so many like going into Hootsuite and just like,
yeah. I
say,
actually,
I
I
don't like to do
actually, and here's the thing: I'm not going to not plug Hootsuite. I love Hootsuite,
that. All
but
right.
I actually quit using autoresponders. I quit last year because what I feel is I feel like our essence and our enthusiasm and our signal is actually on the post itself.
Agreed.
And I can feel people, and that's probably, again, where I'm using my intuitive and my gut a lot.
Yeah.
When it was going through an autoresponder, it was taking my essence out, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I've never my clients, some of them, like, they'll hire marketing digital, like, we'll bring that people in, those people in. I don't do it myself. I'm like, "Oh, I literally that's if anybody sees my post, it's me sitting there with my readers on, and I'm doing it just individually for that." And then I'll be like, "Oh, well, all my aunts are on Facebook, so I need to tell them that. So I'll say it's, blah, blah, blah." So, or sometimes I don't post it both ways, right? Sometimes I don't go both ways, sadly.
Yeah, I do. I feel like, and I'll hear from people often, more often than not, say how much social media is a drag, and I'm all, please quit saying that. What the internet and social media has done for you, and I have a talk, my keynote for this year is you don't have to ask Hollywood for permission anymore. That's
Mm-mm.
huge.
I
There
know,
was
the
a day where
barrier
you had
dropped.
to. You weren't gonna go nowhere if you didn't ask them permission, and they could say no left and right, and then you were done.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Yes.
the wall is down.
Yes, sister. Yes, and that's a positive. That's a
Wonderful.
positive
Yeah.
that I'm like, take advantage of it everywhere. I knew when the second time I was down there, I got hired to go down and do the second startup, and we were hiring influencers. And now I'm in rooms like the influencer agencies, and I'm getting to know these influencers because we're paying them a lot of money,
Mhm.
right? And I'm sitting there breakfast, lunch, and dinner with them. I'm like, oh, so you just didn't have to ask permission. You literally are just being your authentic self. Like, who you are online is who you are at this dinner right now. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you're making a lot of money being real.
Yeah. How great is that?
And I was like, and that's when all the light bulbs went out on for me. And I was just like, oh, I'm gonna build my influence.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna do is just build influence, right? So everyone out there, listen to us. You can do it too. You don't have to ask a corporation, a major brand, or Hollywood anymore to be your own superstar.
True.
And that, sister, that is true freedom. That is true freedom. So thank you, Steve Jobs. Um, we appreciate you out there, brother. We appreciate you on the other side. Anything else that you'd like to share, Erin? Because you're very cool. Like, I love your
Oh, I could talk
storytelling.
for hours.
I
So just
love it. No, but I love it. I love how you talked about your son, and that's such a great piece of advice, right? Because everyone's just not going to like us. I mean,
I know, it's
it
sad
just
though, but
it kind of bums me out some days, but then other days I'm like, whatever.
yeah.
Like, let's move on,
As I
'cause
get older, I care less about it.
I heard a superstar one time say that they know that 10% of the population hates them, but then they're like, "But 90% of them love me." And so I just gonna
No.
focus on the 90%.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. I like
Yes.
that a lot.
Any other advice or any other last minute, and I'm I'll make sure that everyone has the links to find you, but you can please let everyone know how they can find you right here on
So
this
I
live.
started and so because I'm doing this blend of personal and whatever, I'm writing a book called Chasing Pretty because I've just lost 90 pounds. So it's
Mm.
gonna be funny, this book, and wretchedly sad, right? It's gonna be hysterical and then you'll cry. But so I don't know. I'm writing that now. But so because I know that's coming up and because I do one-on-one to consulting and one to many consulting, I just for went that the company is called 11 Communications, but to where the erinnetwork.com is where I'm hanging out. God save the king, right? But yeah, so that's where I'm hanging out. So that's where everyone can find me. Um, I'll throw up videos there. I'll post this there. I have fun. I'll be, we'll do, and then on Instagram and Facebook, just find me. I'm just,
I'm when you drop your book, come back on the show.
thank you. I would love that.
Do a whole show on your book because I
That would be
love,
awesome.
love, love again how authentic you're taking everyone on the journey of like not just the physicality, but I'm sure, the inner, the outer game and
Oh,
everything that comes along with it.
100%. Yeah. You're going to know everything I was thinking when I was standing there in front of Aaron Spelling going, this is my chance. I know he's going to put me on Melrose Place.
Right. Oh, did you go down to Hollywood as a talent first?
No, I just thought
Okay.
I would be discovered.
Okay.
I'm still waiting.
Because I had someone else that was on the show, and she went down as a talent, and she literally in her book tells you authentically what happens. And it's
Yeah.
riveting. It's riveting. And I was like, oh my God, why do we not know each other? We would have
No,
had so much
I'm
fun.
just telling everybody what was going on in my brain while I was wishing upon a star.
Oh
It's
my
gonna be written just like I speak. So, yeah,
oh
it
my
should be
God.
a hootenanny.
Oh my God. I love you, Erin. I love you. I love you. I love
I
you.
love you
I
too.
love you.
Thank you
You
for
rock.
having me on.
Thank you so much for joining me today. You are a superstar on like
Thank you. So
every
are you.
level. I'm gonna take
Everybody
you down in the
watching is
green
as
room.
well.
Go grab yourself a cocktail down in the green room, and I'm gonna just wrap this up. Thank you again, Erin. You're lovely. Is she
You're
not
lovely
a
too.
hoot or what? She is awesome. Can't wait till her book drops. I'm so having her back on the show. Um, I just want to thank everyone today for joining me, and make sure that you join me for another Superstar Women Entrepreneur next Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific Coast time, 11 a.m. East Coast time. I'm going to have another superstar woman who's been sharing her journey, tips, and strategies so that you can elevate yourself out there in the marketplace. And also remember that it is your birthright to stand in your superstar spotlight. Women entrepreneurs out there with ease and grace. And until next time, I am Joey G113. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I appreciate you.